Our love sings to you. Oh, there are no words. There's nothing left. Our love sings to you. Oh, there are no words. There's nothing left. Sing, our love sings to you. Oh, come on. There's nothing left. Our love sings to you. Oh, there's nothing left. Our love sings to you. Oh, I'm so in love with you. You're beautiful, so beautiful. I fix my eyes on you. You're beautiful, so beautiful. I'm so in love with you. You're beautiful, so beautiful. I fix my eyes on you. You're beautiful, so beautiful. With just one look, everything changes. I'm captivated. I'll never be the same. With just one look, everything changes. I'm captivated. Hey, I'll never be the same. With just one look, everything changes. Hey, I'm captivated. I'll never be the same. With just one look, everything changes. I'm captivated. To the Center of Conversation podcast. We got a great conversation going on. We got the founders yet again in the house. So give them a hand clap right now. We're going to go down to the line. Who we got coming in again?
We got Lady T.
All right, Lady T in the house. Who else we got?
Coach LA.
Coach LA. This is your boy BT. And we got a great conversation going on. We've been talking about mental health. We've been hitting about Will and Jada.
Yes.
We've hit about a lot of things. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I ain't gonna name no names, but somebody been holding some things in because it seems like everybody been in their lane and he been kind of being blocked. I ain't gonna say nothing, but we might hear a lot going on from Coach LA tonight. So just letting y'all know that, hey, he's coming in with them buckets tonight. Yes. All right. Are you ready, Coach LA?
I'm ready. I'm
everybody got it. So as we getting ready, this is what we call a vibe out moment where we get ourselves together. I'm gonna crank up the music a little bit, and we just gonna try to make sure you're looking good. I got me a nice little shirt on, and got my chain on. Lady T got a nice little hairdo. I don't know.
Good.
So as we vibing out for a moment,
My
just
hairdo was nice too.
I'm normally bald, y'all, but I ain't gonna get the barber real quick. So enjoy the music. Y'all enjoying the music right now?
Oh man, it's
Vibing out. I'm saying we are vibing out. I'm getting excited about this. Every episode, it seems that things are getting better. We having great conversations.
Yes, we are.
And I know you guys trying to wonder, what is the conversation going? The chiming in. That's right. Because the conversation tonight is simply in our mental awareness month that we've been dealing with. What addictions are plaguing our community? Let me say that again. What addictions are plaguing our community? Because we're still talking about mental awareness, right?
All right.
So we're talking about addictions. Quick question: do anybody know what addictions are? Before I read, because I did some research. I did some what you call Googling and little Webster and things like that. But before we get that, anybody are y'all familiar with addictions and things?
I've been doing a little study. It's called Larayology, L-A-ology. But why don't you read what you have first?
Exactly.
Let's read what you have first.
So addiction is a compulsive, chronic, physiological need for a habit-forming substance, behavior, or activity having harmful physiological, or social effects, and typically cause well-defined symptoms such as anxiety, irritability, tremors, or nausea upon withdrawal or abstinence. There's another thing that I read. It says addiction is treatable. I believe anything that we're dealing with should have some type of treatment.
Okay.
It's a chronic medical disease involving complex interactions among brain circuits, genetics, the environment, and individuals' life experience.
Right.
People with addiction use substance or engage in behaviors that become compulsive and often continue despite harmful consequences.
Right.
Now, almost 21 million Americans have at least one addiction. Dum dum dum. It says 21 million deal with at least one addiction, yet only 10% of them acknowledge and receive treatment. So my question to you right now, the viewers, we call them our centered folks. My thing is, are you dealing with an addiction? Are you one of the 21 million? And are you one of the 10% that acknowledge? So I'm looking at this table right now at 21 million. Is somebody on this table that deal with something? I don't know.
Yeah, I have.
We gonna find out. So you're asking a question about addiction. What are different addictions? So there are different level of addictions. And one of them are, factors with drugs, alcohol addiction. Some can include genetic or environmental influences, socioeconomic status. I'm learning big words. I'm building up my big.
Sound it out.
I'm building my big words.
Sound it out.
I'm trying to get my Jamal Bryant on right now. And pre-existing mental health conditions. Most professionals within the field of addiction agree that there are 4 main stages of addiction. So we know drugs.
Okay.
We know alcohol. We know it can be from a mental health condition that was pre-existing. We even know that it can be something dealing in environmental. So meaning there are different levels of addiction. There's not one type of addiction. So guess what? My addiction may not be your addiction.
Right.
But it seems that we may be among the 21 million.
Yes.
All right. So as we getting ready, this is kind of a sore topic for some. This may be a topic of people saying, hey, this is what I've been waiting on, because the center been hitting everybody's topic, but it hasn't related to me. So I hope that somebody out there can say that this topic can relate with you. Because remember, this is a community. We're going to make sure that all of you guys are able to feel like your situations, your daily struggles, the problems that you're dealing with are being addressed, are being helped, and knowing that, hey, this is a community that helps all. All right?
Right.
So we're going to go to the first question. The music is so beautiful. It's just so calming right now. So the first question is, what are some of your experiences with addiction?
Well, I can say my experiences. It, like you say, it might not be your experience, might not be your experience, but mine is it was shopping at one point. and we call them what, sneakers, tennis shoes, kicks or whatever. I found myself at one time where I just had to, like, maybe twice a month, whatever new sneaker that was out, or whatever I thought I saw in a commercial, I had to go and get those pair of sneakers. So I found myself just really being I guess I can use the word addicted to buying sneakers. It didn't matter how much it cost.
Right.
I just had to have it. I just had to have it. And I noticed how I was kind of training my son up to do the same thing. Okay, we got to get these, we got to get those, we got to get these. But, later on I had to realize that, hey, you spending money on something you wear 2 or 3 times and they're dirty. And then, once I wear them a couple of times, it's time to get another pair. They just sitting there. But one thing I did do, I would bag up the shoes and at least try to give them to, hand them down to someone else that probably, can take advantage of them and be able to use them. But at one time, as crazy as it sounds, I had become addicted to buying shoes. And then if I go further with that, I can say at one time, or now I'm realizing that I had an addiction to pleasing people.
Oh, wow.
I was the type of person that I was a people pleaser. I would rather see someone else happy, comfortable, and satisfied before myself. And in life, even today, I'm realizing that now, hey, it's time for you to focus on yourself. But I was a people pleaser, and it might sound crazy, like, no, that's not an addiction. But yeah, when you've done it for so long, and that's the first thing come to mind, I got to make sure this person okay. I want to make sure this person is comfortable. I want to make sure this or that. You tend to. It was just repetitious. I always put other people before me because I wanted everybody to be happy and be comfortable. Okay. But things change.
Mr. LA, Coach LA, you.
Well, I mean, first of all, we want to, in the studio audience, we have one of our silent partners, who's also our mom and grandmother, and so I'm going to answer this. I want her to, don't respond, don't get loud, don't be like, you should be shaming yourself. Pray for me afterward. My addiction was sex.
Woo! We weren't ready for that.
Yes, my addiction was sex.
Oh, they getting raw up in here.
Because as you read about addiction, there's a difference between enjoying something and doing something to the detriment of yourself, where you find yourself in positions and situations that you shouldn't be in that wasn't for the good.
Wow.
And I think that's the difference between a habit and an addiction. Part of the reason. An addiction, when you find yourself on the other end where you're not happy, you might be, situations coming out that shouldn't be, even hurting yourself or hurting someone else or whatever. It's more of an addiction because you're doing it without, even sometimes you don't want to do it, but it's just, those things that I wanted to do, I do it not. And, those things that I know I'm trying. that's in the Bible. That's not my testimony. My testimony. Yeah. So I would say it was sex, and for myself, I always take responsibility for me. But I think it also could be hereditary. Mm-hmm. It could have been passed down. And so and I'm dealing with that. But I'm just gonna use that. For right now, that's one of my things that I'm dealing with in addiction. It's gonna be sex.
Can I add on to that? And maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but do you have to accept a generational bloodline situation, addiction, habit? Do you have to accept that? Can you be the one that rise above it, that detours?
Yes, I believe that you can. I believe the first step is awareness of it.
Okay.
Because you have to remember a lot of things that you've been passed down. Some of them themselves didn't know it was.
That's right.
So it's not easy for you to be, you have to learn about it. You have to understand, what it is. You have to understand, how it is. Because in our community, I'm not the only one. I know a lot of males, family as well as, it's an addiction. We think we're having fun. When you're young, you're having fun. But at some point in time, you have to stop and be like, hey, this is not even good. This is not, the outcome is not what the desired outcome. It's not the outcome that God is created us to do. So at some point, you have to stop and take responsibility and say, no, this course is wrong. I'm doing something right, but I'm doing it in the wrong way.
And knowledge is power.
Right, and knowledge. So I would think that, yes, when you become aware of it, but a lot of times you don't change because you're not aware of it. Because if everybody else around you doing it, then how would you see that it's a problem?
Exactly.
You don't know it's a problem until you kind of got to step away and look and say, hey. Then when you come back and tell it, be like, hey, we wrong. This is not benefiting us. This is not good for us. Until then, sometimes we all misery loves company. If all of us is miserable, how we gonna say that we're miserable?
Right.
Because if everybody's miserable, then the misery is actually happiness to us. So I'm just gonna stop there. Yeah.
And since Mother is in the studio,
Woo!
Mother, I did not have a sex addiction.
Well,
she's just gonna put me on Front Street. She just gonna put me
Did not pass down to me.
It skipped you and hit me because that was one of my addictions.
Testify, brother. Testify, pastor.
I was addicted to sex.
Yeah.
And let me be honest. At first, I thought I was addicted to pornography because I just, I couldn't stop it and things like that. But then I learned that it wasn't really pornography that I was addicted to, because I've learned in the field of people that are addicted to pornography, it's literally the pornography that they're addicted to, because they're addicted to the imagination of maybe that porn star, or maybe that thing like that's them. That wasn't me. I'm gonna be honest. I only got into the porn stuff because I wasn't having sex like I wanted to. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm addicted to sex. So at first I thought I was addicted to pornography until I learned the roots of it. See, that's the thing. Sometimes your addiction, you have to understand the root. And then you'll sometimes understand that maybe it's not that thing you were addicted to. It may be that kind of coping mechanism. Yes. So my thing was I wanted sex. I like sex. I'm addicted to sex.
Praise the Lord.
The Bible talks about God created us into a sexual manner, so we ain't gonna leave that alone. But because I wasn't having sex the way I was, I started getting into pornography because that was my coping to deal with the fact that I wasn't having enough sex. So my thing is, with that addiction, I learned that I didn't have control.
That's self-control.
See, the thing about addiction is you lose your self-control.
Exactly.
Yes.
So to that point was I could not control the ability to, with the porn. I could just sit there and look at something on Facebook, and next you know it, Pornhub.com. Y'all know let's be real.
Lord.
Let's be real. Let's be real.
What's the name of the website? I'm just kidding.
But so what happened was I started to get addicted to the porn because I got used to that coping. So therefore, I lost control. See, addiction is when you start losing control. Remember the definition, it says that you start losing control, compulsive. It says more into that definition. Let's just just say it again real quick. It said compulsive. Activity having harmful physical things, we hear all that. But the thing that got to me that I could agree with was the word compulsive.
Yes.
I lost control, and every pulse in my body had to get back to that. So when we talk about addiction, see, for me that was sexual addiction, even porn. For somebody else, it could be shopping. For like LA, he said sex. But guess what? Somebody else, it could be drugs. See, each addiction has to be treated differently because we have to find out what is the root.
Exactly.
If you have an addiction, that means there's a root to it. So you can't say that, I'm just addicted to something and there's not, it may not be trauma. It may not be, like somebody else, but there's always a root cause to your addiction. So for me, like I said, I got addicted to porn because my root was I like having sex because I was addicted to sex. But the Lord beeth, the Lord, keep me strong.
He didn't take it away.
I's married now. That's what he's married now.
I was married, and I thank you, wife, because you helped me now.
TMI.
You know,
Okay, this is a
that,
Christian show. What's going on here?
Yes.
The Bible speaks of many wives, but the Lord blessed me with one. So we gonna leave it at that.
But now my question is, because we're talking, we always want to remember about the community.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What's the level of the addictions from the traumas? Because you said trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Are there addictions coming forth from trauma?
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
What would be some of those?
To be honest with you, what we have named sex addiction could come from trauma.
Oh, from getting spanking when I was young?
It could. Never know.
I told you at some point you're going to hear it.
Right.
At some point you going to okay, go back.
Yes.
I told you at some point.
Addiction, it could, correlate with trauma, from trauma. So, and I think most of the time, the root of it could be from trauma.
Because, I think you're going to ask the question about what's one of the biggest addictions in our community.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can go strictly there, because it seemed like you know what they say, TTG, he's trained to go, he's ready. So let's go to that. What are some of those addictions, different addictions that plague our community, and some that you can say that you've experienced, in your lifetime?
Well, I mean, we don't. I want to name some because I've just noticed that, especially with the youth and looking at the numbers and following the information, the health of our youth or whatever, it's drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Substance, yes.
It's substance abuse. It's drugs. It's like, and I'm not talking about weed. I'm talking about hard drugs. I'm talking about pills. I'm talking about other things. I don't want to be named because I don't want kids to be sitting down writing it down. Like,
Let me go
I didn't
check
know
that out.
Yeah. So
he is not trying to give you information to go do it.
But substance abuse.
Right, but what we also want to say, drugs and substance abuse is not the addiction. Your need for it, your constant need for it, is the addiction. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we take things that could be good, or we take things that can be beneficial, and we call it bad because it's being used in the wrong way.
Right.
So drugs is not, quote, the bad addiction. It's just your constant need for it. Because some drugs, people need it for healing. People need it for cancer. People need it for this. But because of our addiction, we take it and we misuse it.
Right. We take it out of purpose.
Right.
And anything's out of purpose is always going to be.
Right. Just like alcohol. It says in the Bible that it was okay to drink wine for the settling of the stomach. But because of our need for it, our constant need for it, we make it into something bad. Wine is not bad.
Right. Jesus was not creating winos when he turned water into wine.
Right. So when we mention the word addiction, the first thing we say is drugs, alcohol, sex. Sex is not bad.
No.
It's your constant need for it. So if I can explain myself.
Okay. Well.
That the thing is not bad. It's how we need it and how much we need makes it bad.
And how it affects us. Remember the
yes.
definition of it talks about how it affects us. Mm-hmm. So some of us need to go back and see those things we're doing repetitiously.
Right.
You're doing over and over, and you want to ask yourself, what's the end result of it? Mm-hmm. Because some of this stuff we're doing over and over again, and we're saying, well, it's not bad, but if it's getting a result that an undesired result, could you just be doing that because you're addicted more than you are profoundly for it?
You just said something, and it brought me, because I for some reason I've been in a season watching Lifetime movies, and
my God.
It seems that in these movies where the husband cheats, it's like they say, "Why did you cheat on me?" And it's like, I don't know, you just didn't give me what I want. And it seems that people that deal with sexual addiction kind of find themselves cheating a lot.
But go back for you right there. What did they say? Because you didn't give me what I wanted or what I needed, it caused me to. So that's the root of it. Neglect. that trauma was neglect. Because you neglected me, it caused me to go and misuse something that's supposed to be special.
For us, and then it brings pain back home.
And it brings pain back home.
But that don't mean you use cheating as an excuse now.
No. We don't condone that.
We don't condone.
I felt some kind of way when you said that. I'm, gonna say that, I'm sitting here like, Lord, hold my tongue, because I think he came at me. But he came at me that time.
Right, but anything that we cannot control, anything that takes control of us,
yes,
that takes control of our mind, that's when it's wrong.
Ooh,
because if we saying that God, is this and God dwells and God this, how can God lead and guide? How can He lead and guide us when something else has taken control of us?
But I want to ask a question, and this is not because he got at me and I'm being petty. Can you be addicted to church? BT, pastor, bishop?
So he gonna just try to pastor.
No, I was asking a question. It's a simple. I was just being sincere. It was in my heart, and I just want to share that.
Cut me off, so yeah.
The church, the pastor and me want to say this. You can't get too much of God.
I said church. I didn't say God. There's a difference.
Two different things.
Yeah.
So
don't be trying to be slick.
Nah.
Church folks always trying to be slick. And God and church the same thing. No, it's not.
Right.
It seems every day, like this day right here, people are tested, me in particular, my last nerves, like bungee jumping off of it, I'm telling you.
COVID-19, this pandemic showed that we can be addicted to the church and be so harmful that we lose our lives. But I thanks be to God, who has redeemed me to learn that no matter where I go, God will never leave me, because He's always with me, because I'm one with Him. But I'm going to stop right there.
I have a question, but right before I go to that, if you don't mind, I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said. If you are to the point where you only feel strong and feel God in the four walls of that church building, then where is God at home? If He only can be served inside of the church, and we wonder why our homes are messed up and hell is breaking loose in the home. When do God have time to dwell in the home when you think that you can only serve Him and you can only feel Him in the four walls of the church? Charity starts at home and spreads abroad.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Let the love of God fill your home. Let God heal your family at home. And still go to church, but we got to stop just focusing and thinking that I got to be at church. If I don't go to church, I'm not going to be strong. If I don't go to church, I'm going to hell. If I don't, and I'm not going to say church because we are the church. If I don't go to the building, the building. It goes back to where I mentioned that word trauma also, and having the root of why are you doing this? What's causing this? Let's take it even to we have the death rate is up with suicide. Let's go back to that. Why is it that so many people are committing suicide? Because they cannot deal. They can't deal with the circumstances. They can't deal with their past traumas, their current traumas. So they take the easy way out, or what they think is the easy way out. We as a world, we as a community, we have become so desensitized. And I know we say this a lot that, social media, it presents a fairy tale where everything is just easy. If you can't make it here, then give up. And if you want to give up, do it this way. Oh, this is nice. This is what everybody does. It's becoming a epidemic. And I'll say it's becoming a pandemic that people they feel like that suicide is just the best way out. But we had talked earlier, and we were mentioning or talking about discussing why is this happening so much now? Well, we didn't have a platform where people was teaching you and showing you that this is the best way out. But now we have open platforms where you can go on social media. Social media is not a bad thing. It's just what you perceive and you're taking from it. And it's teaching us that it's just best not to even be here.
Right. When you go to some of the music, some of the artists. Then you have to understand the elementary of how we look at life.
Right.
Someone has a big car, we believe we should have a big car. Someone has a big house, we believe we're supposed to have a big house. So when you see someone with something, you believe you're supposed to have it. And if I don't get it, it's going to be one or two things. Either I'm going to go try to get it, or I'm going to feel like, well, I'm not worthy and I need to go leave Earth. And that's the problem. We have made everything to the point where people really believe that everything they see is just for them and the way someone else has it. So individualizing is no more. It's just everybody's coming in looking the same. Conversations are the same. Music, thought processes, when people need to be themselves and understand that may not be something you don't want. And then sometimes you can be criticized or bullied because you don't have and others are coming to you. So that's why the peer pressure with the children. You know, they don't have the sneakers. They don't have the same number of followings. You know, they don't have, and so they feel like, well, maybe I don't meet the criteria of being here. Maybe it's not for me. I don't want to be looked upon that way because we all believe somebody is watching us. Let me tell you all a secret. Nobody's watching you. No, you're not as special as you think you are. That goes for you pastors, legislators, you're not as special as you think you are. You need to calm down with that and understand we're all the same. Nobody's on a different level. God doesn't have this big children and that big children, this little children, and you barely making it in, you barely have a relationship. So we need to start teaching our children or whatever. You're great wherever you at and whatever you have. So if they got 20,000, you got 20 followers, you're just as great as they are or whatever. Build it, go on, enjoy yourself, enjoy the process. But the suicide that's going on, but you could see it years. Remember, whatever's going on now was imagined years ago.
Yes.
Years ago, nothing's new under the sun. You could have called this years ago what was going on. When, you know, and a lot of society, you know, and the world itself, when you start pulling the parents out of the house because they got to go to work because of inflation, because of the rent is going high. You got one parent, you know, raising the children and the other one is not putting a part in. Well, they're not there. So if you do that, then you can look 10 to 20 years down the line and you can kind of tell what the future is going to be. Because if you don't have what you're supposed to have, guess what you have? An emptiness. So a lot of this going on is because the emptiness. This is why the job of the elders now is to stop trying to be the leader. Your job now is to educate, to inform, to be there, to listen to them. But our elders, they just want to be the boss. They just want to be in charge. No, start giving the information. Let the young, the older, you know, see the vision. The younger, you know, dream the dreams, or whichever one else, vice versa. So we got to start learning our positions, start speaking into our children's life and letting them know that, listen, all that's good, but when you get that brand new car 3 months from now, it's going to be a regular car.
Right.
It's going to, when you get that boyfriend, that girlfriend that you really desire, 3 months from now, you're going to be looking like, you know, was you really worth it? We got to start being real about this. So I think that dealing with the suicide rate and dealing with the addiction, that we got to start now. We got to start putting our foot down and saying, hey, if we keep doing what we're doing, guess what's going to happen 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Because we're creating the reality right now. So
you said something social media. I got my breath back. Y'all understand. This is a person that dealt with years of addiction, and now they brought suicide. You know, hey, let's be real. I was a person that suicide was one of those topics in my life. I've never shied away from it. I love myself now. I will be honest with you. I love myself. This is a hard topic for me because of addiction, because there's been a lot. But you said something about social media, and I want to really say something. And you said, and this is the question, and I think you already answered, but can you become addicted to social media, and how has it affected the world?
Yes, you can become addicted to it. Social media is not bad. It's just your need and your compulsiveness in wanting to always be on social media. And how it's affecting the world is we have different people that have platforms on social media. Some platforms are good, some platforms are bad. And then you have some people that may be low in spirit, that may be weak-minded, that may be dealing once again with trauma. They may click on a wrong platform, and that platform give them the wrong advice.
Information. Right.
And the wrong information. That's how our community is being negatively affected because of different platforms on social media. But I have a question. Those of you that do have a platform, those of you that do have a church, those of you that's in leadership, in your families, what platform do you have to help someone that needs help, that's dealing with trauma? What platform do you have? If your answer right now is nothing, I have nothing, then we are failing our young people and we are failing our community.
Yes. Because
we should have some type of intervention. I know we're not doctors, we're not therapists, but we've been through things. We have life experiences where we can help and assist or steer,
Right.
people in the right direction.
Yes.
But if you answering that question right now, I have no platform. I have nothing where if someone comes to me, that's dealing with addiction or trauma, then we have a problem. We have already failed. But I think as a people, as a community, we need to come together just as fast as they can get on social media and pull up a bad site that's teaching them, what to do that's, not right. They should be able to click on something that's telling them the right thing to do.
Right.
So we as a community, we need to come together. We as a people, we as a church, it's time for us to step up forward. Let's take over social media with positive platforms.
Create your own app.
Let's take it over. It's just get your phone and you sit down, just start talking to somebody's life, talk your experience. It's time out for us to just thinking we got to preach everything out of people. Sometimes it's just talk. People need to just. They need to hear from you. We need to talk. They need to hear our voice. They need to hear that we are concerned about them. Everything is just not a hop and a jump. Everything is not about the latest outfit, the latest hairstyle. People are hurting. The community need us. So let's band together. And like I said, just as fast as they can jump on social media and pull up a bad platform, let's band together and let's start creating the positive platforms.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And that's beautiful. I really think that's why I said create our own app where we can control, because the current apps that we have, don't get me wrong, they bring great positivity things. But it's kind of crazy that you can scroll from one good positive thing and then the next you know it, touch this sensitive content and then there's suicide.
Exactly.
Murder. And it's like, dude, I literally just had something good and seconds later. So we need a platform where we can monitor that spiritual feeding that we're giving to our people. Because if I look at one good thing and then I end with a bad note of seeing something negative, because everybody it's one button. Like, just like I have a button to press, we need to create something as a community.
Yes.
I totally.
App as a community. I'm telling whoever I'm giving you, come on. I don't even want my 10%. Create a app that is going to be so we can monitor what we're giving to our people.
Yes.
And I guarantee if we feed positive, people want positivity.
They do.
But right now, we're using the word, we have them.
I choose violence.
And to be honest, it's like, if I keep feeding you something until you're addicted to it, that's why people are so addicted to drama. People, look at the TV. What is the highest rating thing that's going on TV? Reality TV. And it ain't nothing but drama.
Yes.
But you know the level of your trauma by your drama.
Yes.
She gonna start a whole nother t-shirt.
I'm sorry. You know the level of your trauma by your drama.
If you full of drama, you full of trauma.
You full of trauma.
If you in everybody else's business, if you always talking about what's going on in everyone else's life, you are dealing with traumas, but you're revealing it by the dramas. You have to step back and look and soul search yourself. Watch out for your own soul salvation, your own mind salvation. It needs to be delivered. You got a lot of trauma going on, and you just thinking, "Oh, I'm just talking about something. I ain't doing nothing else. I'm just no." That is trauma. That's coming out, but we're calling it drama. The trauma is the the noun, and the drama is the adverb, or is the effect. The cause is the trauma, and the effect is the drama. So that's why you have to look and see, what are you doing today? What did you do today? What did you talk about today? And when you wake up in the morning, you do the same thing, because your inner is telling you, outwardly what's going on with you. But we're so in denial. We're so in denial. This is why suicide rate is going up, because they can't talk to you because they don't even know you, because you don't know you.
Yes.
You don't know the real you. You know the made up you that people like, hey, how you know? The real you is so sincere and so deep that when you speak, the trees, just shake. But that's not the you. The you that's waking up and you're all talking about what somebody else is doing, what happened in somebody else's life. That's because you're running from your traumas. You're running from your traumas because you should be talking about you. You should be talking about God. You should be talking about your family. You should be talking about what you're doing in the day, the beauties of life. When the last time you described a butterfly, a bumblebee? You see what I'm saying? But every day you're always talking about someone else because you're running from your traumas. I know you don't know this, but if you just listen, you got to step back. Deal with your traumas. You're so beautiful. You're so loving. There are people who wants to meet you so you can speak into their life. But right now you can't, because as soon as they walk up, girl, did you hear? Man, those itches those are traumas you're dealing with, and that's why you can't speak truth into their lives. Now I'm going to stop there.
So people can be addicted to trauma and dramas?
Well, the addiction is just the effect of the traumas.
Right.
They are traumatized, so there's an addiction for it to reveal itself. So remember, whatever happens in heaven happens on earth. They're not talking about the heaven, and they're talking about the subconscious and the conscious.
Right.
Whatever's going on with your conscious is happening in your subconscious.
Yes.
So that's what this is why we have to step back and start looking. And the scripture says to watch out for your own soul. Don't think soul, think mind, your
mind.
soul
Yes.
salvation.
Yes.
Salvation, the word soteria, it means deliverance. You got to start trying to deliver yourself. But you should know yourself. You shall know the tree by the fruit it beareth. Look at your life. You will see the fruit that is bearing, and all this fruit is not good. If you see a lot of fruit that you can't eat, you got to understand you're not giving good fruit. Right. The scriptures talk about when Jesus walked the earth to see the tree that wasn't bearing any fruit. What did he say? I'm going to give you tomorrow. If I come back tomorrow and that fruit ain't right, what did he do to that tree?
Pluck it down. Chop
so
it down.
You all need to step back and start looking at it. The fruit wasn't about other people. It was about you. Mm-hmm. What fruit are you bearing? We're going to deal with suicide. We're going to deal with alcoholism, drugism. We're going to deal when we become real. So when they come to us, we can speak into their life. Not just the words, but the vibration, the spirit. Yes. We're going to speak the spirit to them. But we can't right now because we're so fake. I love you. And 5 minutes later, you're on the phone talking all about them. Come on, let's stop that. But anyway, I'm going to stop right there.
I don't know who he was talking about, but I guarantee they saying.
No, I've done it too. I'm not talking about someone. I'm talking about this is what happens in our community.
Whatever we say here is our experience.
I love you, and then I walk out of the room and I'm talking to somebody else. Man, that boy's always talking that. No, that's not right. I wasn't right.
This is center we always come. You did that to me before?
Yeah, I've done that to you before. I have no problem with all of y'all. I apologize, but yes, I used to talk a lot of stuff about a lot of people because that's what happens in our community. That is what we inherit. That's what we're grown up in. What do you think testimony service is in church? Really talking about deliverance? Come on now, you know what we were doing. Shooting people down or what. God blessed me with this new house or what, and then look over there. Because somebody over there sleeping on somebody else's couch. Come on now, let's be real. But anyway. So yes, I apologize to everyone because yes, I have talked things about people behind their back or whatever, and I found myself with my soul, my deliverance of my mind. I've been transforming my mind with the renewing of it, knowing that it wasn't right.
So, ending with our last question, and because we talking about the things where we've talked about the traumas, we talked about the dramas, we talked about the addictions and things, but what are some of the ways we can overcome a bad addiction?
One way you can overcome it, be real with yourself, recognize the trauma in your life. Once you deal with the trauma, then you can deal with the addiction. I believe once you heal from the trauma, whatever it is that you can't get over and you keep doing over and over, you ain't gonna want to do it no more because you're gonna find yourself wanting to be a new creature, wanting to be a new person, wanting to do things, that you've never done before. But until you deal with your trauma, whatever addiction you have, it's going to continuously be there.
And you said the first thing you said was, admit and with what you're dealing with, right?
Right.
I believe the add on to that is you can't do it by yourself, because if you could have did it by yourself, you wouldn't be dealing with this right now.
Right.
So I believe to add on to that is to also get help.
Yes.
Get professional help.
Yes.
I understand we want to go to the church and run to the church. That's good. But guess what? Y'all know my saying. I believe you need the altar and the couch.
You need the altar and the couch. And your village, your family.
Yes.
Altar, couch, and family.
Yes.
Call it your accountability family.
Right.
Because they need to be able to hold you accountable. And dealing with getting that help, you have to be willing to accept the help. Meaning, everything is not going to be easy.
It's not.
You have to be able to, just like the trauma was bad, sometimes when you're dealing with it, it's going to be some rough patches. It's going to hurt. It's going to do some things. But watch this. Those growing pains are going to make you better. I've did the counseling. I went for suicide issues. I went with addiction. And when I got done, I found out it was a root. And you'll find out that it's like, when you get a splinter and that splinter start hurting, and now you in all this pain, it's like your hand. And once you remove the splinter, you realize this little thing caused so much pain.
Wow.
So you have to understand that, be willing to understand that it may have been something small that over time just grew.
Yes.
Right.
The Bible talks about the wheat and the tare.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't understand that we no longer can see the wheat because we are so used to the tare and we allowed it to grow. But what would happen if you allow, this preaching me, you allow God to remove that tare out your life?
Yes.
And to see the good that you have. Yes. I believe that will help with addiction. I think that will help with suicide. That's why it's important to get help.
Yes.
Because the thing about suicide and addiction, I don't know how we got to suicide, but I love this conversation. You have a tunnel vision. A person that has that help does not have a tunnel vision. They see things in different ways that help you because what they're showing you is there's other ways, and showing you can overcome this.
Yes.
That's why it's important to get help, because those people that help you will show you that this thing is not the last thing.
Right.
It's not. It's not.
This ain't your permanent situation. This
It's
is not your permanent state.
It doesn't have to be.
No,
it doesn't happen, but you got to want it and get the help. You can't do it by yourself.
No,
Right.
you can't.
If you do it by yourself, you will fail every time.
Yes.
Yes.
LA?
Oh no! What y'all said is beautiful. I've had my time.
I'm like, and we at the end. I'm loving this red center shirt. Y'all know what? If you want a center shirt, please go on the page. If you on YouTube, comment under the YouTube page or comment under the video and just say you would like a center shirt and give us a size and everything. And guess what? You can get the center shirt. We want you to represent the merch. We want you to feel like you're a part of this.
Yes.
Hey, because when you out there and with the shirt, make sure y'all take pictures, let them know that, hey, the center is spreading.
Yes.
Because this is a community. We want this community to grow.
Yes.
For free? What's going on here? What?
When you ask for the shirt, you will get the information and we will let you know how much the shirts are. Because Mr. over there ain't going to do nothing for free.
Listen, the law of compensation, the law of giving and receiving. You shall receive, you gonna give.
We got some BTB shirts. We at the end, so I might as well just promote our stuff. We got the BTB shirts out. You want one? Inbox. We got the Worship Zone shirts. And I'm telling you, it would be good for y'all to have these shirts before we get ready, because I'm gonna be honest. The center we got something coming up, and we would love for y'all when we meet live and
Yes.
we worship together. You have a Worship Zone
Yes.
shirt, a center shirt, things like that.
They gonna be out there. I'm big to see them.
Yeah, they gonna be able to see you.
Some of them ain't got
Don't
their-
that sound good? The center live.
Get your hair did.
The center
Get ready, 'cause
live.
it's
Get
coming.
your hair did, because I will be up there letting you
It's
know.
coming. It's coming.
Something need to touch that hair.
It's in the works. We
So-
coming to you. We coming to you.
Hey, and anybody that just wants to bring the center to your platform, and to your church, or to your business venture, just inbox. We here. And
Yes.
I'm gonna pre-warn you. Whatever Coach LA says or does, we are not responsible.
Yes.
Wait a minute, what?
We're putting a disclaimer out there right now.
If he offends you or anything, but this it's about community.
Yes.
Like as we end it, it's about community.
Yes,
y'all.
it's our community. We love you all.
We love you.
Whether we
And we
agree or disagree,
and we support
we still love our community, and we
Yes.
have faith, belief,
Yes.
and hope that our community we're going to build, grow together, and we're just going to do exactly what God talked about. The land is going to be ours.
Yes.
We're going to stand together.
Yes.
Understand that we are with you all.
We with
love.
you.
We pray for you.
Yes.
We believe in you. We're listening to you, even though we may not agree with you, and a lot of them I don't agree with you. But we still love you.
We still, and this platform is about our perspective and
Yes.
our experiences.
Yes.
This is where we're coming from.
Yes.
We've all been through addiction. Some of us dealt with suicide. Some of us dealt with trauma and drama. So understand, when it comes to the center, we all play a part, and we all been through something.
Yes.
Yes.
This is a family.
Yes.
If you need help, go out there. It's so much help. We'll put it down there for you again. You know, Coach Icy came before with information.
Yes.
If you're dealing with addiction, reach out for help.
Yes.
Reach out to, local government buildings, churches that have, look for that help. I'm telling, all you got to do is Google.
Yes.
You Google, the help is right there. But we will be able, if you want something, we'll research and we'll give it to you.
Yes.
We know some people that know how to do this. I'm going to be
Yes.
honest, one of my spiritual mothers is a therapist. If you
Yes.
ever need help, just reach out on the inbox.
Right.
I will make sure to give her your information.
Right.
So we want to make sure that you are helped in anything that you're dealing with.
Yes.
Lady T, we're going to let you close out with one more, it could be a word or, your famous line.
Well, I'm just saying, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here. Just reach out. Anytime, any day, just reach out. I'm here. I'll be your friend. We can talk.
I think that's it. So, this your boy BT. This is
Lady T.
and that man over there.
It's Coach LA.
And this is the center. And we'll see you next time.